All right. Ooh, a little loud. What is up? Oh man. Didn't get a chance to stream um yesterday. Man, the way I think it was Thursday ended was a little scary. I I managed to get I managed to crack open that stupid tar file, man. And and then once I got in, I realized that every bulk export from ADSB law, it was not total sightings leading up until like what it May 1st. It was every sighting in the world every single day. That's what's being uploaded to their GitHub. And I didn't know that until Thursday night. So I kind of freaked out. And I didn't stream yesterday because I I spent all of my Friday. Where is it? I spent all of my Friday um, downloading every single day that there was a sighting since January 1st. Um, Let me show you here. Every single day. So this is this is what we ended up with. Luckily, I was able to, multiple sightings happen. And my database isn't very big, thankfully. Um, I kind of restricted everything to just this year. But man, that was a lot of data. It was like 200 gigs, I think. I had to like delete all the games off my PC for just to start with, and had to refactor stuff. But we got it all in. And not only that, but I wrote a pretty decent batch script. This is what I'm going to be working on today. But we already got a CSV export of all flights. So here, for anybody new to this stream, I want to show my front end quick, but this is, here, let me find a nice little emoji for plane. So yeah, so this is, we're still on the back end here, but this is ArcGIS Pro. I have I think like 61 sightings. This is what's currently being shown in on the front end. And I think we were able to get historical flight data for almost every single one of these. So it looks like Birmingham, East Alabama here, nothing here. My bounding box right now is 25 nautical miles. And then I think I'm gonna play with these numbers, but we're just doing a 5-minute time window. But what's been so great about ADSB law is they're giving not just the ICAO flight ID, but all the pings that happen within that 5-minute bounding box of 25 nautical miles. So what I'd like to do on the front end is, I'm going to show that here. And this is live, by the way. It's just an alpha, so I'm like trying not to like pump it out to too many people. But what I'd like to do on the front end is have all of my sightings say like this is blinking because it's new. You can click on that and you'd have an option to open up a Doppler radar widget. So if you're familiar with Doppler radar, you can kind of click a button and then slide back and forth in time. And I'd like to slide between the pings for each flight that happened in that 5-minute window of the sighting that was observed, which I think is so cool because the data are already there. It just seems like nobody's been doing that right now. And you always see, the Reddit comments, the Reddit guys, they're basically doing this, but not from like like a 3D mapping perspective, and it's not automated. So that's really the goal here. And so this is the site. I'm gonna call it LSR from Lord of the Rings, and it's really basic. I'm not a front end dev. It's more of an MVP than anything. but we have some recent sightings here. We can jump between stuff that, and we're just pulling Reddit data right now. As much as I'm a little iffy on some posts that get deleted a little too quickly, suspiciously, Reddit is actually very, very good with their structure. Their mod team is they're awesome actually in terms of that. So it's made it like a really easy way for me to sort of build a very small MVP. But yeah, the goal is definitely Twitter, 100% Twitter, and then a lot more that I can get my hands on. I want to have a user submission button. I think that'd be really useful. Let's see. Yeah, we can explore a region here. Want to see what UFOs are popping off in Africa? We can do that. Not really much going on in Africa. Oh, we have something in India here. What was that? I must have missed this. Interesting. And then you can also view the attribute data, and you know, there's some issues with the box, like some of this stuff overlaps here, but I'm hoping to get enough attention, or at least minimal attention, on this project, and maybe because all of this stuff is open source, it's up on GitHub for anyone to branch and run their own instance if they want to. I would love for somebody to like kill, you know, just freaking go ham on the front end, because this is just not my area of expertise. I literally vibe coded all of this. Yeah, so the goal today is to, I want to work on just getting my my data structured correctly, and then I want to, so this is my main script here, my main scraping script, and it does a lot of things. It reads the, let's see, we're just defining some database connections. We're using, I think it's PyTZ, or not TZ, GeoPy. We're going to use that geocoder. It seems to be working out pretty well. It's not getting like weird edge cases, but it's working for now, because I think in the future I want to use NLP, but I don't want to mess with any like API licenses and calls and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at now. I'm using GeoPy, or GeoPy, to find a location. We're getting our event dates. Here we're getting an extract year. I need to work on this, because this data is actually very important. This is how we determine our historical flight data. But yeah, we're getting a year. Oh, I see what this. Yeah. Okay. Month and day, the extract time. And then we parse the event date. So like these three functions parse the event date together. Yeah, so I have a fetch UAP post function, flight data. This one, it was currently coming from the front end API, and they were not giving historical data. I did not figure that out until it was like way too late. So eventually I'd like to just completely get rid of this, because this whole batch function is going to replace this right here, which I'm really excited about, because we actually have historical data now. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. We have, yeah, and so again, I'm going to make a new flight data table in Postgres. And that's it's going to be tailored way better than this is currently structured, because like we're bringing in all these like weird fields, and it's like I don't think that you can even get this from the source I'm pulling from, but it's none of this really matters, other than you want lat long, you want the lat long of the flight, the lat long of the pings that the flight makes within the bounding box. You want the ICIO number, and then you just, I mean, like in altitude is a nice to have, but I think beyond that, that's all I'm gonna really pull right now. And so we have some update sequences we're inserting into the database here. And then, so yeah, and so most of the data is getting to the front end from just a flat GeoJSON file. So like we have our UAP GeoJSON file, and we're gonna have a flight point data GeoJSON file. And I know there's like a billion other better ways to do it, but for me, this is the only thing that my small brain could like figure out how to put stuff on a front end, because I've never made a front end before. It all seemed really like daunting and scary. You have all these like weird like AWS fees and things that you have to keep track of, and then if people like all of a sudden like use your stuff so much, it creeps up. And so I was like really afraid of, I mean, I you know, me thinking I'm special, like this is actually gonna pop off or something, but I was just terrified of like getting some crazy fees. So we're using GeoJSON right now. That will, if this gets any sort of traction, that will change. And we're just making a Jamstack website. And yeah, we got some confidence scores there. And so yeah, so that's sort of the workflow. Right now though, I'm working on batching what we have. So that's what this is here. I just want to see, like, yeah, man, it even got some of the stuff in Hawaii. That's pretty cool. I don't know enough about ADSB Exchange. If they don't track stuff in certain areas, I know it's mostly like crowdsourced. I don't see much in Sweden either, but I think that's pretty good. Like it seems like it's, you know, I only see a couple points that don't have flight data. Maybe something here. Yeah, so Alabama, something didn't work out there. But for a first pass, I think this is exactly what we're looking for. And all of our event dates, because that's what we're really referencing here with this flight data, they're all in UTC. So because ADSB, they only use UTC. So I need to work on this on the front end, but you'll see like an event date. This is 5:15 a.m. This is 5:15 like UTC. So it's gonna look, if I were to click this, it's 12:15 at the time of the sighting. But I need to like make some sort of like bare minimum, some sort of like disclaimer or something on there just to indicate. But again, small stuff. So the goal for today is just to like hit a level of like like data engineering progress. I would love to put this, because we just ran this and it's exporting CSVs right now. I would love to put this into this. That's the goal for today. And so right now I'm at a stage where I need to create so we have our batch CSV, whatever, but what we don't have is a Postgres table to host this. I want to keep the data that we've like curated all in Postgres, because it just makes things easier. And then from there we can export GeoJSON, Jamstack, all that stuff from there. But I don't want to work with CSV files. It's just it just gets kind of sloppy. So yeah, that's the goal today. I've been doing a little bit prep with some OpenAI models. Where are we at? I think we're here. Let's see. Oh, and my cam is like right in the way. I'm gonna get some music on too, man. Let's see. This is probably helpful. Let's get some music on too. Man, Spotify really does not like me signing in lately. Shoot. All right. The house vibes are there. It's very fitting. Very fitting for the vibe coding session that's about to happen right now. All right, let me make this a little bigger. Yeah. All right. Okay, I wanted to go over a tier CO. Okay. I was talking about, yeah. So we want an output GeoJSON to have, I think we want this data nested. So you want the flight as a parent, and then the pings to be part of like the child of the flights. So I think I need to make sure that, because you're gonna have to flatten this for SQL. So I need to make sure that these pings stay in the attributes for any specific flights. So I gotta look out for that. Where are we at? Yeah, so we're gonna create a table. I like flight pings, actually, that's a good name. Create a table here. And let me make sure that this is getting every, where's my CSV? Make sure this is getting every, okay, so we want sighting ID. Let me see, is that in there? Okay. We have sighting ID, ICAO. Sighting, what the hell is this? Is that the ping latency? Ping time. Oh, I see, yeah. This point offset. Oh, that's the offset. That's weird. Oh, this is the... I see. This is the non-UTC time, I think, or the UTC time. Okay. Sighting ID, ICAO, sighting time. Ping time, offset. I don't really care about ping time or offset. But latitude, longitude, altitude are all good. And that's just for the flights. What do the points have? Sliding time, ping time, offset, okay. Let's just make sure. I think we're right. I have so little trust in, I'm using what model am I using? It doesn't really matter. I wouldn't even trust 4.5 from OpenAI. So every move I make, I'm trying to like really make sure that we're getting the structure right. Because if you get the structure right, man, you build something at least worth a second of somebody's time, which is the goal here. Ping time, altitude. Camera key. Okay. What I see right away missing is we're not pulling in. We're not pulling in. Oh, but these are pinks. Like pinks. Let me just see what this looks like. So we can always drop this table. Okay. Cancel that. Okay, so we make a table here where I'm not going to build a SQL view. That's way too complicated. We're going to do all of this with pandas data frames. There's nothing I hate more in like an ETL workflow than jumping back and forth between tools, especially like for efficiency. I don't know, Python's gotten so much faster. Okay. Yeah, so we have our table. And do we have our ping time? Oh no, did I create the wrong table? No, okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So what is this doing? This is Oh geez, the Twitch bots have found me. Let me fix this. All right, gotta turn that off for now. Okay, so imports, our database connection. Wait a minute, I gave it my DB. Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, here's my second response. That looks better. That's more of what I'm looking for. I was like, something looks different, much different here. Okay, so we're gonna build this here right after the data frame. Okay, so I gave it my helper, which means it's expecting me to call this. It's okay, I have this bookmarked. For this. So we need to import our SQL libraries or SQL connections, and that should fix the error there. Okay. Okay, so now we can work here. So what is it saying to do? It's saying read your pings data frame. So that's going to be this guy right here. If you have points and memories, what? I can't wait to optimize this for the actual script. It sucks like whenever like you bring in new stuff to a project, it's so tough updating backend stuff because like like since I've worked on this, I think we have like at least 3 new records. Oh, this is the wrong table. How many records do we have? We have 61 total, but I know a lot. Yeah, we've gotten 4 since I've started working on this. So I have to go and download 4 days. What is this? 31 to. That's 4 days of bulk downloads is going to be like an extra 30 gigs. Which tells me that like I obviously I'm not going to keep this stuff. I'm going to throw it out when I'm done using it, but I feel like it'd be kind of cool to keep an on-prem historical reference of stuff. You can load flights faster. It'd be kind of sick. Okay, prepare records for upsert. We're gonna, for R and points, next equals false. Oh, I see what it's doing. Okay, one thing I want to do. I want to be like super clear about time zones, and I want to make sure that whatever is consolidating into whatever, it's consolidating into UTC, because I have some of these that are displaying and they look like daytime, but they're not really. They're the UTC conversion, and then I have actual UTC written as daytime, and then I have like the binary UTC from ADSB exchange. So I want to make sure that I don't think it's gonna remember any of this. I might have to give an export of my database. Okay, so yeah, okay. That is not UTC, but is Unix epoch. Why did it give me this in a bash window? RTS stays. You give me a better cheat sheet? What the frick? Um, one sec. I gotta fix this. Okay. All right, and we're back. Here's a quick plain language cheat. Oh. I think it's just confusing jumping from Postgres and Mapbox's ISO and then the Unix. JavaScript Mapbox timeback, timestamps. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna table that. So, okay, this is our main function. We're going to our main batch function here on the left. So our pings are in that weird Unix. Okay, that's all it's doing. It's just converting the weird Unix binary decimal to UTC, something readable visually. Okay. And then it's appending records. Okay. The problem with this, oh man. I actually don't have a problem running this again because we could just switch this to check for, because right now I'm preloading all of the I'm preloading all of the GitHub repos for ADSB law. So what I think I should probably do is we'll finish this on the right here, and then before we run this again, because I think we should just run it again. Why not? We could just add a check to see if in the preloading section, if they're already local, then skip it, and they're all already local. So I think that makes sense to me, at least. Yeah, because this is our SQL export. Man, I only have four sightings. I wonder if I could just only have 4 extra sightings here. I wonder if I just like, all right, I'll think about this later. I wonder if I just do a new export and just overwrite it, and then I can spare a few more gigs on my PC. I have 200 gigs left on my local drive right now, so I could probably swing that. So maybe we'll just run this whole thing again, and that I think that's better too, because I hate using CSV exports to like patch and do weird stuff. I like when stuff runs once cleanly. So okay, let me go back down here. Okay. All right, so where we're at, we're gonna append the records, append the flight data records into our current table for the specific sightings, absurd into Postgres. Okay, we're gonna use we already brought in our function connectdb, and yeah, I like this looks good. I love it when SQL tables only have like 4 columns, or they have a super small schema. It just makes everything so much easier to manage. I try to stay out of SQL as much as I possibly can. Use execute values for bulk speed. Where am I calling that? What the hell is this? It's a database adapter. So damn, it's already trying to optimize. Okay, I mean, sure, man. Okay, immediately after you assemble. What? And I think that's fine. I don't necessarily care, because before we were bringing in all the flights, and then in addition we were bringing all the points that the flights made. I don't know right now if it's useful, because you could write logic to just consolidate a flight if it appears in your bounding box. That's just one flight. Like, I don't know how important it is. I feel like we can just get rid of it because we can always bring it back. I mean, I could even just keep it. I could even just keep it defined. But I don't know. I feel like that's a waste too. Why is this being run twice? See, this is why you read every line AI sends you. It's being run twice for no reason. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna write this straight to the database. Okay, we don't want to blindly copy shits. Okay. Unresolved attributes here. I don't even know if I have this. I don't know. We're not going to call flights right now. What? Are we? Question mark? All right, let me leave in flights right now because it's being called for our GeoJSON and we have to fix this as well. So I'll just leave it. There we go. It's a little better. Okay, so I have some unresolved references here. And I think I'm getting it. It's referring to these because that's what we're defining them. So what is currently in points right now? What's in all points? Okay. Yeah, so there's going to be some referencing here that we have to fix. It's right here. So this is a classic lazy prompt engineer move. Yeah, I'm gonna give it the whole main. I'm gonna get the main function up until GeoJSON. I think what it's not remembering that we're not calling our data ping time, like ICAOs and like things like I think it might just be ping time. What else got highlighted? Latitude and longitude. So like I think these are being called something differently. So we're gonna I'm trying to think of like, I think it's just not remembering the entire script. And why would it? Like, this is an offshoot of my main function. My main function is 900 lines of code. We're already at 300 here. So this is my main function. And for R, so it's trying to find data in my points definition, my PTS. What I think it just is looking for is, I think, well, here, if I just do this, I think it's looking for all points, not points. And yes, those references go away. But I need to know, I don't know tuples very well. So we're just gonna go with, I think, as your referencing my flight point data as PTS, when I think we previously defined it as all points. However, I'd like you to double check as all points. However, I'd like you to double check by viewing my current main function below. Below with the changes that I've you made for me in your last response. I think we can do something with that, because I'm pretty sure it's just trying to find these values, because these values are defined. We have sighting ID, we have lat long, latitude and longitude. Where's ping time? Where's that else? Where's that being referenced else? Yeah. Like we're already calling this stuff like. Okay. Actually, keep that there. Okay, let's just see what it does with my main function. I think it just forgot to call it all points. Let me get rid of this first. Okay, I already did this. Make sure your ConnectDB lives. Lives above main. Yeah, it does. It lives above main. Yeah, it's right here. All right, you're saying there's nothing wrong with your weird code, dude. There's something wrong with your code. What the heck? I thought we like brought this in. We have, yeah, we have this. Okay. Import, we have that. And we have this. All right, iteration number 2. Points. Try this again. That's my, I don't think I have a points data frame. Oh no, I'm dumb. I do have a points data frame. Oh, so it's referencing it because it hasn't been created yet. Oh yeah, that's it. I am done. Okay. All right. What else does it give me? No, we're not going to rename. We're going to move on. Okay. So now before, I don't want to run this yet. Okay, okay, before I run this, I want to introduce, like, this doesn't need to be crazy. I want to introduce some kind of logic to check locally first. I just want to check locally first because check locally first for tar files in my, I'll even link it in my data tab or folder, my data. I am going to run the full batch script again, and since I've ran last, 4 more records, so this will be this edition. Will be a good test for performance with new, as well as testing the how long should I locally keep some of these files, because I want to be able to play Helldivers when I want to and not have to worry about storage space. As well as testing tar retention. Test locally first. Can you make sure that I feel like that's going to set me up for failure there. I probably shouldn't have added that last part, but I kind of just want to see what happens. I think that's fine. Let's see what it does. Oh, I should have okay. I think I have to run this again just because I didn't give it the function. That was my bad. I will prompt engineer. But I just want to read what this says. It will skip the GitHub API entirely wherever it sees that days combined or standalone tar. Already sitting here, data dir. Okay, that's what I want. This top of your bash script, replacing your old function. Everything else in your script stays exactly the same. You can call ensure history date in your fetch loop, and it'll be a pure file existing check for any date you've already downloaded. All right, I'm not gonna read all that, but I want to make sure that what's changed. Oh, that's nice. Let's forward it of a function. 13 otherwise, and for any single part tar for that date, return it. We hit. Okay, I don't necessarily like that. It should really only look for the combined tar because we can't read. Dude, these files are wild, man. It's first time working with these, but they have an AA and AB. Each date has an AA and an AB, and then they build another one. So it's like 2 gigs, 2 gigs, an additional 3 gigs. So it's like every day is like 9 gigs of or something crazy like that. How this integrates, you don't need to touch any of your prefab loop or downstream logic. Your main still does sorted. Okay. And your per starting calls to ensure history will likewise never re-download if you've already got the file locally. And your per starting call and your ensure history date string. I mean, and then there's the other question is like, okay, when we finally put it in the main script, do we add another attribute to the function where it checks if the flight data has already been found, then to skip checking locally as well, because this is going to run for everything. Is it? I think so. I think it's going to run for everything. Yeah, because that's what we just worked on. Oh no, it's going to run for everything in the CSV export. Okay. Cool. That almost hurt my brain function power. But we're still going to give this an exported CSV. With the 4 new records. Because that way I can be lazy and not have to do this again post date. Might as well run this again. Before, yeah, because and then it's like the one shot. Actually, 5:16 I have 40 minutes. Hopefully there hasn't been anything new in the last 6 hours. It's not gonna matter. I'm gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to skip current stuff, but that's for later. Below is a drop-in replacement for your ensure history that will skip GitHub entirely wherever it sees days combined, blah, blah, blah. Ooh, I could write a check. I could connect to the database in this batch script. So that maybe I could keep it separate and just check if the sighting, because it's tied to a sighting ID. So if a sighting ID exists in the database, it just skips even checking locally. So that would like significantly improve song sucks. Still call, okay. All right, this is where I'm, hold on, let me just finish reading this. What's changed? Line 13, 18, otherwise look for any single part tar for the dates. Only if now there's found do we hit the GitHub API. I don't know if I like this. I just feel like you should just look for the combined file. How this integrates. You don't need to touch any of your prefetch loop. Okay. We just read that. And your per sighting calls to ensure history dates will likewise never re-download if you've already got the file locally. Per sighting calls to ensure history date will likewise never re-download if you've already got the file locally. Why did we name it this? And it's such a weird name. Ensure the ADSB history for a date string is present locally. Okay. And your per sighting calls to ensure history date will likewise never be done. Okay. If this grows too large, you can add a little cleanup snippet. I'm not worried about that right now. I'm most likely gonna delete all this stuff as soon as I get it running in a batch script. I am not down for however many gigs I said, 200 plus. Okay, so that's all fine. I'm gonna rerun this and I'm gonna give it my exact function because I don't even the comments, I don't want them to change. I want the exact same function, only additive. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that bullshit because that didn't do anything. The exact okay, let's try that. Vibe coding, man. All right. Let's get this. I'm wondering when this runs, if man, last time I ran this, I mean, it was downloading like 60 plus 7+ gigabyte repos, so it took like all night. But because we're only running stuff locally for the most part, like 92% of these records are already local. I wonder how long this will take. It shouldn't take that long because it's only 40 records, especially if I stop dilly-dallying. I have an automated run scheduled for 6, so that gives me 37 minutes. hopefully no one has been fucking finding UAPs in the last 6 hours, because that would be great for me. Okay, so just one small yeah, that's all we're asking for, just one small pre-check. Look for an already combined archive. Yeah. Oh, thank God. Okay, so it's before it was like gonna check for like every AB weird, like can you know, yeah, like if you whatever. Okay, this gives me what I want, because I just feel like checking for like the build files as well is so useless logic. It does not make sense. You only care about the combined file, so that's good. Okay, I think it's getting stronger the more it iterates like that. I gotta remember to keep editing comments. That took 4 tries. That's not bad. All right, below 0. Okay, and then we're looking for exactly one tar GZ. Yeah. If now this condition is met, it falls back to the existing GitHub download. Okay, that's exactly what we want for now. And the final form, the final Dragon Ball Z form, we're gonna make sure that it checks for flight data that exists already in the database, and if it does, then we're not gonna queue this API. Which I'm surprised I haven't been like freaking rate limited by GitHub at this point, because I've literally downloaded like 200 gigs of data from GitHub in the last 24 hours. And maybe that's like not a big deal, but for me that is like I am out of my league. Like I don't even use GitHub. Like my entire career has been on-prem. Okay, so it's asking if we have a glob import. Let me get to my short history. So here, let me bookmark this. Do we have a glob import? We do not. Oh, come on then. Nice. I feel like it read this combined and it just like sort of like got the picture. Which is actually super badass. Everybody says like, yeah, whatever. These models suck. Like they do not suck. Like you just have to be patient and train them. Pre-check, use an existing local archive. I really should have read through this before I just copy paste there. Okay. Pre-check. Use an existing local archive. Tag. The instance combined, yeah. And it's only looking for the combined tar file. The OS path is file combined, logger debug. That's fine. Single file shortcut. If there's exactly one tar matching, then what does this say? If there's exactly one matching tag date, what's it doing? Okay, I'm fine with this. Let me just make sure. Just make sure this is all the same. We're getting our GitHub token, logger info. This is all, yeah, this is all the same. Okay, I'm fine with that. We just need a pre-check. Do I need anything else? What this does saves you the code API run trip. Okay. Still falls back to your download and combined logic if you have zero. Drop in that plate and then run your full batch. All right, man. Just freaking run it. Full send, dude. Right before I do that. I just want to make sure, because like the real goal for this was to put it into a database. So like, let me just check database again. Here, let me press this. Okay, so this is our old flight data database. Don't care about that. That's API access. We do care about this new one that we made, which is going to be empty, called flight pings. It's going to have our sighting ID, which is crucial. It's clutch. Bomb ass, dank ass. Our ping time, which is, I believe, in UTC. Altitude, yeah, it has to be in UTC. It's ADSB exchange. Altitude, which is also sick. Great frame of reference for any sort of UFO researchers. And a lat long. We don't need a parent table of just flat flight data. We really care about the pings because we're gonna make a GIF. We're gonna make a Doppler radar tracker GIF thing. Okay, so flight pings here. Getting nervous. It's so funny because like I do like GIS and this where is it? Like yeah. like whenever I get an error message in PyCharm, it's like not a big deal. But whenever I get an error message in here, yeah. When I get an error message in ArcGIS, it is like the most like stress-inducing, just like come on, bro, feeling. But I usually don't feel that way in PyCharm, but I'm kind of getting a little nervous because this is really what we're looking for. But it's so cool because we actually already have all the data. We're just putting it into SQL. Like it's already here in Arc. These are all the same points. Which is sick. But we're gonna get trajectory movements. So imagine like if you're on a LSR and you click this little point and there's a pop-up that says, hey, view historical flights in the area. You're not going to just see these. You're going to see a GIF and timeline, a moving slider of all the flights in a 5-minute window, or however many minute window I want for a 25 nautical mile radius, and you're going to see them moving in the historical real time. And then you can be like, well, hey, I saw it did this, and that. Well, like, well, that flight at that time in that direction did this, and that. And that's where I feel like the value add is. And then, well, I mean, for me, because the real thing is I think UFOs are real. The real factor there is like, all right, well, this did this, and that. Somebody saw something on the ground. They're like, all right, well, there was no flight in any area that did this, and that within this amount of radius and this time window that you said you saw the thing. Like, isn't that so cool? Like that's why I get excited about the shit, because it's like it's worth like putting time into. Like, if the data is out there, then somebody just gotta like slap that shit on a map, man. All right, I got carried away. Let's see. I just want to make sure my my Postgres connection is up. Okay, so we're calling a cursor here. Upstart into SQL at the end. Ooh. Okay. The last thing is here. We're still writing JSON to a flat file. Okay. Okay, so my batch script is updated with everything we worked on. However, it is still writing GeoJSON to a flat file. I will post the contents in underneath this, but I know we've made some parent-child grouping changes, and I just want to make sure that we're exporting it correctly, or if we even should at all in this run. Because the goal of this is to get the data into SQL. From like a batch standpoint, I have 25 minutes before 6 p.m. Try not to get stressed out about that, but the goal is just to get it into SQL, and then the logic. I feel like the logic for the GeoJSON should happen in the iterative main fetch UAP data script once we've already integrated. So I don't think we should put this in here. I think this should go. Because, yeah. This run to, yeah. Here, let me just, to me, it seems like this export is better suited in the main fetch UAP data Python scripts, the main scraper scripts. Once we integrate the logic from the batch fetch flight data into the main script. Right now, it seems like including these lines of code seem redundant because we're not going to use whatever this exports. And can you please correct me if I'm wrong and check that? All right, let's just see what it says. I think I know what I need to do. I think I have to delete this, but we'll just see what it says. Okay, you're absolutely right. Yes, I know I'm a god gamer. Once you've moved all of your pings in the database, that little right GeoJSON block comes redundant. In fact, for a clean production, you want a batch script. Pull out any missing tar files, run your flight trace filter, upsert every ping into flight pings, stop the yes, so stop using CSV or GeoJSON exports. Oh, before I run this, I have to export a fresh CSV from my SQL database. With 4, and I'm almost tempted to wait. Actually, you know, I could just run this. I could just run this right now. Actually, I'm gonna do that right now before I think about anything else. Because if I run it right now, it might catch something that's happened in like the last 5.5 hours, and then that way, if there's like another record, I can just plop it in there too, and that buys me 6 more hours to add this. Okay, looks like that ran 2 new records. Let's go. Let's go. I am so smart. Not really. Let's go. Okay, that was great. Because before, yeah, so we read this, but yeah, we have to export a new CSV before we run this from SQL. Because right now, so 61, that was a few hours ago, and we have 63 now. Okay, but interesting. We have no that long here, so let me check this out. I'm not stalling, I promise. I mean, that looks like a kite. Just off rip. But is it moving? No, it looks static. Is my camera in the way? What the hell is this, man? You seen this? What the hell is that? It said it. I think my geolocator didn't work for this post, but it looks like that's in an area that I could probably track down to at least a half a mile. So I'm wondering if that's close to like any parks or something. Huh. I'll have to look into like why my geocoder didn't find this. I gave a full address, bro. Yeah, that's a problem. Round Rock, Texas. I don't know what people are saying, but what the fuck is that, man? It's weird because when you see stuff in the air like that, it can look like it's moving and be stationary, but it can also actually be moving. I love how the like actual weird shit, none of the top 1% commenters have anything to say on Reddit. They just kind of, and then like you check back a few days, like I'm good, probably gonna, I should probably download this. I'm just gonna do it, dude. Because like you check back later, and that shit is gone. That's a real thing that happens on Reddit, man. Stuff gets a little too real, and then all right, hold on. Let me geocode this properly, and then I'll rerun the script again, because I don't know what to make of that. That looks like, I know, because I've seen there's a black version of that giant 20-foot kite, and this could just be like another version of it. It's like a very famous kite that a lot of people mistake. The ones that always freak me out, man, are the ones that look like this, the jellyfish stuff. There's some stuff in the California fires last year that really freaked me out, because it's like, what are you doing flying a kite when your entire vicinity is on fire? And I've seen stuff like this where the flights where there's just fires burning in the background, and there's just like these weird jellyfish thing just chilling. What the heck is that? All right. Well, I saved the video. Let me get the, okay, so Round Rock, let's start with that. We can actually what's nice about doing this manually this time is we could probably get a pretty accurate coordinate, because I don't know why my geocoder missed this. Location address close to location on road 12. Wow. So they gave the exact address of the building that it was next to. So let's just go here. Yeah, and like the first thing I'm seeing is like, I'm seeing this looks like farmland. So this looks like a park here. Because I mean, like, where do you fly a kite? You fly a kite in a park, right? What the heck? But that park is like right behind this building now. I don't know, man. Not for me to discuss. I'm just a data engineer. That's for the other much smarter people than me. Look, okay, you know, you have Frontier Park. Like this, whenever I see kites or things that could be kites, I immediately look for some sort of large thing in the you know, it's the and like that would put it at a pretty decent area away from, because this guy was right here, like he saw it here pretty much. It was like behind this thing, and if you look right behind it, like that seems like a decent amount of distance. I don't know, just an observation. It's going in the database because I love the jellyfish ones. They are Steve's candy for me. Nerd's rope. Okay. I'll even go as far to put the coordinate for this sighting here. Literally right where I think someone is flying a freaking kite. But in terms of like an anomaly score or confidence score, this one is gonna go hard. All right. Okay, so we got all this stuff to add. I don't want to do this right now. Let's save this, and we will run our script again, which is going to geocode that lat long for us. And then we can get back to testing our batch update. All right, so it looks like that ran. I think that ran all right. Let me just check this, see if we got geocoded. We did. Okay, sweet. So we're not going to have any front end errors either, because I am so smart that I did not write logic for not letting records into the database that don't have a lat long. Seems like the first thing you should do as a geographic scientist, but here I am 10 years into the business forgetting. But that's okay. That's why we're in alpha. For anyone just joining the stream, we have created a monster front end, all vibe coded, and yeah, we're gonna add flight data to this. A Doppler radar widget, if you so choose. It's gonna be sick. Okay, so we got that sighting. Database looks good, so we can export a script, and then we're gonna export a CSV, and then we can run the script. But I'm gonna pee before this. All right, be right back. All right, let's go. Okay, let me move this camera back where it sort of used to be. It's really good there. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so I was just like, do we even need this GeoJSON? Because we're gonna be doing a completely separate, unique call to push all this data to the Jamstack on GitHub in a different script. So I feel like we don't need this. And OpenAI says you're absolutely right. Once you move all of your pings to the database, that little right GeoJSON block in the box, right block at the bottom of your batch flight script becomes redundant. So pull down any missing tar files. We've optimized for that. We're gonna run our flight trace filter, upsert every ping into our SQL database flight pings table, and stop the flat file exports. Main fetch UAP. Yeah, so in our main script, or downstream publish step, read from flight pings via pandas. Yeah, pandas. Group and nest into the JSON shape your front end needs, and write out a single settings for GeoJSON for the front end. Please don't give me. Okay, I don't need this. I want this. Delete or comment out these lines. Okay, yeah, so it's just agreeing with me. So we can get rid of this, and then we're gonna run we're gonna run a batch script. Again, we already have this data. It just exists in CSV, so we're gonna push it to our SQL database. If you're just jumping in, this is sort of what we've been working on. We have a let me run this first before I explain. Just get it running. Hopefully we don't run into any dumb errors. This has already worked for us before, so just see what's going on. Okay, sweet. Perfect. It ran through everything we just queried. We already have the local data, so it's scanning for one, I think out of like, we added 4 sightings or 5. 4 or 5 sightings, so we're just going to run through 5 of those. That should take not super long. Hopefully we'll get a nice little I think I wrote some print statements for it's going to run through each sighting and then pop out like how many flights they found for each one. So hopefully at the end of this we should be able to find it. But for anybody just jumping in, we have a Jamstack front end. It's pulling GeoJSON data, and it's written in Mapbox GLJS and some HTML with some CSS to make it look nice. And you can look at recent sightings. You can look at you can filter all sightings, newest to first, vetted and reviewed. There's a little nice little timeline slider. So you can see sightings as they happen over time. Like you want to only see last month's or whatever stuff that's happened in the last month, or see the progress over time. Maybe it's heating up a lot. I'm thinking about a heat map in the future. I'm gonna have a lot of stats for a custom algorithm called confidence score that I wrote. We have minimal statistics, so 3 in the last 24 hours. Over the last week, we had I'm gonna add some like dates so you can. This is just over the last 7 days. Last seven calendar days. Yeah, so any sighting you want, it'll just ping to that if you click on it. You can explore regions, stuff like that. I'm very impressed with Mapbox because of how snappy it's been. I think that's been fucking sick. Oh, what do you have? 45,000 for the first sighting, and then yeah, we have like a little fact here. Again, anybody that wants to work on this is all on GitHub. This is all open source under that MIT license or whatever the hell. I'm not a GitHub guy. I'm a backend dev, and this is my first time writing anything front end. So the smartest thing that I could credit myself is just releasing this out for everybody to improve, because I know anybody could write this way better than I could. Again, there's just not been, I don't see stuff like this. So I was just like, well, it'd be kind of fun, and maybe we could stream it and people might find it interesting. Okay, let's see what we found for the first one. Hopefully I don't set myself up to fail here, but there should be. So out of the 5 new sightings, let's see if this first new sighting has any. Nice, perfect, behaving exactly as expected. 11 flights for the 5-minute time frame at the event site, or at the event date of the sighting. In that 5-minute time frame, plus or minus, of the event date, there were 11 flights and 227 pings. So those 11 flights made some like course history, and we're tracking all of that with flat long and altitude, and we're going to be able to map that in a widget on the front end, which is so cool. So we can sort of like automate whatever these like Reddit wizards are doing, but on a map, and nobody has to do any work. It's all being done with Python 3.10. So I think that's pretty interesting. So it's going to run through 4. So that was 1. How many new records was it? I think it was like 4 or something like that. A couple of these are gonna, that was my 6 o'clock. A couple of these are, that looks like, so that event day got coded wrong, so we're gonna have to check that. There's not gonna be any flight data for this because it is in the future. Oh, this is the one that we wanted. Nice. So that happened. That happened. We're gonna use the reported date 5/3/2025. This is no big deal because we can just run this again. Time 3:47, and that's Texas, so that's local. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on some of my logic for this stuff, but we will get there. We will get there. Let's see where we're at with this. Halfway through number 2. Dude, I don't even think I exported my freaking SQL file. Yeah, it's still, oh my gosh. All right, well that's fine because I have 4 new records that have to be inserted. So what I can do is I can write a check. I can write a check. Let me just see what this do when this finish. I need to write a check regardless. To now that we're pumping data into this new SQL table, I need a check to reference the table first. If there is a unique sighting ID and ICAR flight tag, that's the unique ID for every airplane or flight. it needs to reference that first before it tries to delve through these crazy big tar files for that corresponding data. So I have to write a check for that. Let's see, what does this one say? Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so I think the plan is I'm gonna write that check, and then sighting 3. Okay. And then while this is still running, I'll probably let this run because it's gonna get everything. It's gonna export everything to SQL, which will take a bit. But in the meantime, I can work on the front end, which is so much more fun. Oh my gosh. UI UX is like crack, man. Like, I don't know anything about it, but man, the failure reward structure is so quick, especially with AI. Like, man, I'm learning so much about it just by making what I've made so far. But the changes, like, they're not like crazy like hierarchical structured database changes like they are in Python. Like, they're, or like whatever SQL like kind of linear infrastructure you're working with. Like, these are like on the fly changes that you can like do in whatever combination of ways to achieve the same outcome. Whether that's CSS, JavaScript, or HTML, you have all these like ways to solve a problem, and it's so quick because of AI. It's super cool. So like, I don't know, the last 2 weeks have been like super fun for me because all the front end stuff is like way more fun. Like, this stuff is like, it's fun, but it's because it's fun because I've suffered so much in back-end development that like I like know what to do, and that's satisfying. But with UI UX, it's like a, you know, a drug, to put it lightly. It's a certain kind of drug that I can't say on Twitch. Okay. So I need to write some logic to check the current database of flight pings, and if a record already exists, you're gonna skip scanning any sort of any sort of tar file that's tied to the date of that sighting ID. Yep, that is what's gonna happen. And then once I'm done with that, that should be really quick, because I'm gonna have to run this again because I freaking forgot to export my current database. Do that right now. Just make sure that this is okay. Let me download this. I'm gonna make a note that I think it's like 6 more sightings, and then I think if I can get this, I'm still gonna have to do this again. So I don't know, maybe I freaking table this for a few days from now, but I'm gonna have to integrate this into my current my current OS scheduled run, because right now this is a standalone manual script that I'm running on my own, and I have to add this logic to my current automated process, which should probably just be a stream in itself, just to make sure that I don't screw anything up. Yeah, so we have some 6 additional sites. I keep coming back to this thing, man. It's gotta be it's gotta be. There's a park literally right in that direction. Like, that's nuts. This just happened like 3 hours ago. This is in Texas. What time is in Texas? It's 6:08 here. It was 8. It's 8 in Texas now. So that was like 4.5 hours ago. Some dude is seeing some jellyfish thing, and it's probably the famous 20-foot kite that everybody's buying. But I've never seen a white one. It's always been black. Oh man, that's weird. All right, what are we at? What is the? Okay, yeah. So we're moving along with that, which is good. Okay. Just make sure everything's kind of in order. Okay, yeah, so let me just export the current database. We got, since I last batch updated, that's 6 new. So I'll make a note to run this again for the 6 new. We're just like right now, what is happening in Python, all those processes, we're updating these 57 records with flight data. So we're adding flight data into another SQL table in the database, and it's going to eventually look like this. This is just a CSV export of what we're importing right now. So every single future update, it won't be like flight data won't be as real time as I'd like to get it. It's good right now. It's going to be probably a little bit less than 24 hours. But yeah, this is sort of the data analytics dashboard view of what I'm trying to do for the front end. And we're going to have a nice like widget that you're going to see it on the LSR app, and it's going to give like a nice Doppler radar effect of where was this flight at this time within this 5-minute window, 25 nautical mile bounding box, and it's going to give the observer, the UFO researcher ideally, oh man, if Big West were to use my site, that'd be so sick. And you know, just like sort of left to right, here's your flight, here's what's going on. And I just think that's going to be such a useful tool. Okay. Yeah, so this is my current database. 63 records. Anytime I see like shitty data, I delete it, by the way. So there's going to be differencing in sighting ID, or differences in sighting ID. I know I should stop doing that, but it's my database. Okay, so we're gonna upload a new version of that, and then right now I'm gonna, we still, okay. One sec. We have not been playing copyright-free music the last hour. Okay, we're back here. What I want to do before I switch to front end or reassess is I want to make a rule. I want to write a rule to check the existing flight pings. So everything that we're putting into this ping database down here, all this crap, I want to make a rule to check, to reference that current table in SQL before you run through the gauntlet of like sifting, because that's what we're doing right now. We're like sifting through all these tar files, which takes a ton of time per record. And it might not if I run stuff in parallel later, but I don't want to do that right now. But we have all these tar files. That's this right here. And they're huge. And they're taking up all the space on my PC. So we want to skip that at every opportunity we have, right? Like, so another skip is going to be, now that we actually have data in the SQL database, we want to check. We don't want to do this for every record. Like, you have to give it some sort of heads up that, like, hey, we already did this one, so I'm not going to scan for this if we already have it. So this is probably going to live somewhere in our pre-check logic. So we have some pre-check here. What was this for? We just did this. This was for okay, yeah, so we're going to pre-check. We're not going to scan ADSB lol's generous GitHub of all the historical data that we're referencing if we don't have to, because I don't want to get in trouble with them. I feel like I should have already been like IP banned for like how much I've downloaded, like 250 gigs of data from these guys. We want to avoid that at all costs. So another check, because that's all this is. It's just another pre-check. Is we want to reference our current flight pings database, which I think that's what it's called. Let me just make sure. Flight underscore pings. And we just want to check and see if the unique ID already exists in flight pings, because it's historical data. I think for the most part, it will never, like, backdated historical data will never be added to a repo like that. So you can always reference the process unique ID, because yeah. So anyways, so like we're gonna check for unique ID I created called sighting ID, which is here. And if it finds sighting ID, which is what's going to populate once this whole script runs, it's not going to follow up the chain and see, okay, well, is it in locally? And it's not going to follow up that chain and say, okay, well, does GitHub have it? Because if it's already there, it's not going to search for either of those two things. That's what we need to write right now. Okay. Okay, so we deleted this. Okay. So my SQL table, I'm gonna just say this. Okay, so my SQL table is currently being updated, where the script is updating real time. It's running right now. All the tar files are being scanned for my historical 61 plus records. Right now, I want to write some additional pre-check logic for any additional times I run the batch script. I also want it to reference what is currently in flight pings SQL table database. If it sees sighting ID, sighting underscore ID, then I want it to not check anything in my local tar directory files or check GitHub. I want it to skip and move on to the next record and file, or file, if that makes sense. I'm trying to get better at like speaking to this thing, but it feels like I don't know. There's a lot of pressure there. Hopefully that was simple enough. It should just be a few lines of code. Like, it shouldn't be like anything crazy. Add a skip if already in the database step right after you load your sightings and before you compute unique dates. Where is unique dates in pre-check? Okay. Well, it's definitely going to be... this should only exist in my pre-check function section. Oh, I see. I see. You don't want this in your ensure history function. I see what's going on. I thought it was in main. Okay. Okay, so right after you load your sightings in your main function, and before you compute unique dates, so we're going to add some logic here. Yeah, okay, that makes so much more sense, because like this is what causes all the problems. Like ensure history is why we're just sitting here waiting for all this crap to happen. Place you ever only ever call and search server to need any sightings whose pings are already in the database is skipped entirely. Okay, yeah, this is what we want, because this is gonna stay a batch script probably for the next few days, but so much project progress still, even though that this is separate from my main. Okay. So what is it actually asking me to do? So you have define main. Okay, that's all fine. Is it just saying everything here is, yeah, that's our original unique dates function. So it wants us to drop sightings we've already processed. Okay, it's going to open and close the connection, which is good. I wish I knew how to like copy paste this without the addition signs. Fetch all sightings. Fetch all sighting IDs already in flight pings. Is that the name of the database? Just want to make sure. Yeah. Select distinct sighting IDs just to make sure there's no duplicates. That's good. Existing. Okay. Where is DFS being? This is just more curiosity here. Okay, DF sightings. That's, I see. That's my CSV. Okay, so it's just subtracting and minusing. What? What's in the original? That's like not the best logic, because I'd have to update the CSV every time I run it post today, in addition to checking for additional updates in the database every time it's run. That's not the greatest logic. Because it's still referencing a stale file that I have to make sure I stay on top of. I don't know what I want to do about that. Before, okay. I think I might just have to eat it and then just try to get this integrated with my main script each time. Because if I'm quick about it, I only have to do this a couple times for the next few days until it runs automated. And then any new records, they run along with everybody else in this big giant monolith thing. And I think I'm okay with that. It just sucks. I hate like exporting shit to flat files because they're not read or referenced from anything. You have to always pay attention to details stuff, and I'm not a details guy. That's why I vibe code. Okay. Let's see. What I want to do here. Fuck it. We ball. So we'll just run this right after. And then just make sure that our SQL export, or yeah, we'll just make sure that every time I run the batch script, I'm just gonna force a OS run of our main script. And I think if I do that, I can always be guaranteed that I have a fresh CSV export for the batch script. And then I think that will solve itself. I just have to remember to do that. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Let's try it out. You only ever call ensure history for dates you truly need. And let's get rid of this. Okay, so we can't call this, but I know this is fine because we're just opening and closing a connection right now. Okay, so that's great because now we can move to the front end. For anybody just joining, this is our front end here. This is I'm calling this LSR. It is fully open source. Let me just move my camera here so you guys can see. here. So I sort of made this because I feel like I have a mapping background. I'm like a computer science mapper kind of person, and it doesn't really seem like people are doing this right now. That you have databases like MUFON and NewFork, I think, NewFork, that are doing something similar. Also in Mapbox, by the way, shout out Mapbox. But no one is like really incorporating like layers on top of these sightings, and I don't think any of these have like super high barriers to entry. Like everything that I'm allowing in my database is only video. So if you want like super detailed like research information, there are organizations that do that, like MUFON. Like they send people out to like investigate sightings, and they interview people and stuff like that. We're not doing that. We are fully automated web scraping, and we're only getting super high quality video data that you can reference on a map with other layers. So that's what we're doing today. We're bringing in flight data, so we can essentially make like, so we had this recent sighting 4 hours ago. I think this is it, right? Yeah. We're gonna be able to go to Round Rock. Is that where this is? In Texas. And we're gonna be able to see all of the Doppler radar effect flights for a 5-minute window. So 25-mile circumference box around this point. We're gonna see all the flights and their paths that happen in that radius, which is super cool. So like you can, if no flights sort of fit the description of this video, which this video is actually crazy. This is what I think is possibly a kite, but it could be just like a jellyfish kind of thing. But if no flights fit this description, we can rule flights out as a possible thing, because we're using a very high cited source, ADSB exchange data source. But that's sort of the goal. It's like I don't really think anything like this exists out there. So oops, let me close this. Yeah, so, and like, you know, I'm not a front-end dev, so we have really basic stuff. You can filter all data by vetted, unreviewed. The goal is to, like, you know, I stream a lot, or I'm trying to stream a lot, so I want to go through individual sightings and records with you guys. So some of the stuff is unreviewed. That's like the black stuff here. If stuff is lighter, it is less of a confidence in terms of the app's abilities, or the app's algorithm's ability to like say, hey, this is kind of an interesting sighting. This one that we just looked at, my algorithm is eventually going to calculate to be like, that's a pretty freaking interesting sighting. Maybe we should take a look at that. Even if it is just a kite, I think it's probably worth taking a look at. So the goal is to kind of go through my database record by record with you guys and sort of fill some of these things out. Have we vetted it? What is the duration seconds? Is there an anomaly score? Vetting status, weather conditions, research notes. If it's from Reddit, what's the account reputation? So we have stuff like that. We have a timeline filter. So you can kind of see like records over time, or like sightings over time, sort of like a heat map effect. If things are kind of popping off, you can kind of tell in like a certain region. So if you want to see Asia, you can do that here. If you want to check out Europe, you can also do that. We have a small stats page that's going to build. We have a little bit of an about. I'm going to try as much as I can, because this site's in alpha. I'm going to try as much as I can to update the known issues list, just because I know there's going to be a lot. And we have a FAQ and things like that. But again, this is all open source. This is like, if somebody happens to see this and is like, oh, he's doing this and this wrong, please please branch me, and I will more than likely just commit your code, because I don't understand front end. It's super fun, but I don't understand it. So anyways, yeah, that's sort of what's I got going on here. Let's see, we have our new logic, which I know is fine because we're just opening, closing a connection. How we at? Where are we at with this thing? Oh, thanks, RWEX18. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're at we're at sighting 29, so we're like halfway through the database. What I think I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna call for now, guys. I see some viewers on Twitch and Kick. Thanks for jumping in. I hope I've been able to kind of explain what the end goal is here. This is the front end. The site is live right now. If you just happen to be in here, you want to check it out, go to that GitHub.io link and just poke around, see if you find anything interesting. If you see any feedback you want to give me, go ahead. We're going to be mapping UFO sightings to the end of time. This is fully automated, and unless my local server dies, this will run as long as I have am paying my power bill. So I think this is pretty cool. Let me know if you have any improvements, and yeah, thanks for jumping in to anybody that did. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.